Hello everyone, and welcome to Friday. And Fridays are, as always, all about relationships. As you know, today usually I'm going with my guests live, and today I decided to go actually live on my own so I can give you more value about the work which I do with my clients based on their relationships coaching. Before we move on, let me just tell you that yes, I am in the car right now. As you can see, this is a bit unusual session, I must say, and I agree with you. But you know what? It's just simply because right now I am in Bath. In Bath is really amazing city. It's very historical. It's really beautiful. And from Bath, I'm setting off all the way to I forgot the city. Well, I'm setting off towards the Cornwall, right? So therefore, I'm today in the car because coverage of internet actually here is right on the spot. So actually, I can go live because when I was checking coverage, where I will be for the next few days, it is really, really bad network there. So because I won't be able to go live there, I decided to go live here, even though it is in the car. So far, I was in my office. So far, I was also at my living room, and also was at Diana's Grant's living room, but today I'm actually in the car. Anyways, today we will discuss all about relationships. How can we get what we want in relationships? And I must say that very often people are wondering, how can we get what we want? And when I ask them the question, well, let's start with, what actually do you want from relationships? And what's really amazing that very often people can tell me a lot about what they don't want. Or they can tell me a lot about the experiences which they had and how bad they feel now, how many issues they have right now. And yet they cannot say what actually they would like to have in their relationships. And before I move on, let me just say hello to everybody. Brandon says hello from USA. How awesome is that? And Howard is on YouTube. Hello, guys. Let me know where you're based. And actually, let me share with you. I won't be able to show you the entire city since I'm in the car, right? And actually, I did think to do this live outside with a beautiful, stunning view of Cathedral in Bath. But it is so windy that I was worried you won't be able to hear. But actually, let me show you. I am parked, not far. So as you can see, the bus drove that way. If you would go that way, which the bus is driving now, you'll be able to walk all the way to the cathedral, where actually I just been a couple of minutes ago before I came here. So please let me know, where are you joining and what time is it there? Because right now here it is 1 p.m. and I'm here with you, and today we will talk all about relationships, as it is usual on Fridays. Right. Anyways, so the reason why I decided to make this session about how can we get what we want in relationships, because surprisingly during this week, I had quite a few sessions with clients on the same topic. And I thought, maybe there's the universe telling me that this topic is quite hot and I need to bring it up and actually discuss it with you as well. What's interesting is, all of us, we have our normal perceptions, normal expectations, our stories in our heads based on what has happened before. It could be your family, it could be your first relationship with a girlfriend or boyfriend. And in that case, what happens in your subconscious, you have a story about what relationship can be like. And then it becomes over the time, because you meet similar partners and you end up in similar relationship with the same pattern, you start believing that this is relationship should be like. The truth is, there is no such a thing as should. There is no such a thing as must. It's all about the way how you want things to be. So, for example, and these are real examples from a couple of sessions which I had this week on relationships. One of my clients, she said that her first boyfriend was very, very violent, emotionally abusive, physically abusive. He didn't treat her well. He was locking her outside of the door. So obviously what she built and developed in her subconscious, that's exactly what should be in her relationships. And when I asked her a question about the father, even though I knew the answer before she answered, she said she didn't have a father. So here we have an example of somebody who has just one story, just one example, what men should treat her like. And of course, as a result, subconsciously now she believes this is the only way. There are also men ending up in really interesting situations. Another client of mine, also from this week, he was in relationships where his partner was never appreciating him, never appreciating, never praising, never noticing everything what he was doing. So basically, he was like a zero in her eyes. When I asked him a question about his mom, he said that mom was never noticing him. Mom was too busy with other siblings and she was never there for him. So even though in his example, he has two people who were showing him, you are not important, you are nothing in my life, still the story is very strong. So it doesn't really matter how many examples you had, 1, 2, or 15. Usually we get attracted to very similar type of people because of our story. So if you don't deal with that story right at the beginning, if you don't reshape it, all what you will get is the same pattern again, again, and again, until the day when actually you will decide that enough is enough. I want a totally different relationship, which is possible. So here's the trick. How do we find out what do we want in relationships? So it's actually much easier than you think. If you just take pen and paper and you almost like draw a line, almost like a timeline of your life, and you put dots in those years when you had relationships, and you put names. And if under names you just list, including your mom, by the way, because your mom and dad, they're first role models about what relationship should be like or what relationship can be like, right? So let's include your mom and dad as well here. So if you just draw a line and you put years and then you put names below or above those dots, it doesn't really matter. But the bottom line is, below all those names, if you could write down, what did you learn from that relationship, right? And at this moment, don't really think or overthink that it should be a positive lesson. List anything, whatever comes into your mind, right? It could be that I'm not important, that they don't love me, that they don't appreciate me, that I don't deserve love. It could be whatever, right? Whatever situation you've been to, whatever you learned, list everything what you felt, experienced, and learned. Because what we want to do here, we want to transform these lessons into the opposite ones, right? I'll give you an example. For example, I learned men are drinking, right? So therefore, you in your relationships, if you want somebody who is having healthy attitude towards alcohol, you can put somebody who drinks only socially. But it's about building that list, what you want, right? So this is the example what you're going to do once you listed everything what you discovered in your previous relationships. Let me just see where people join us from. And by the way, if you have any questions or if you would like to share what situation you are in right now in your relationships or what maybe were your most powerful lessons from your relationship, I'm here to share and I'm here to discuss that. And I'm also here to answer any questions. And I can see that actually Sat joined me on Facebook. Thank you so much, Sat, for joining me. Hello to you as well. Thank you for saying hi. And we actually have people from California, Gary is. And I'm really glad, Gary, that you like it. You're saying this is awesome. That's really nice comment. Thank you so much. And Vinit, I do like your comment on YouTube. You're saying, I think trust and understanding are two pillars of fruitful relationships. And I agree with you in it. You know, it's really interesting. On Monday, if you'll go on my YouTube channel, you will see there's a video of me and Diana Grant. We were talking on Monday about trust. And Howard, if you're still with us, I'm sure you remember because you were participating in that conversation as well. We were talking about trust. And this is a very interesting thing because you can trust others, but you have to trust yourself. So yes, I agree with you. It is really important, extremely important to trust your partner. But if you don't trust yourself, you will really struggle to trust others too. And also understanding comes from learning, right? When do we understand? When we actually recognized something, when we got relatable, when we understood them, right? This one understanding is coming from when we really got clarity about the situation. And therefore, understanding also comes from knowing who you are, what your values are, who is your partner, and what you would like to achieve in your relationships, right? Understanding comes from clarity. So yes, I agree with you. And oh my gosh, there could be a totally huge, grand, and marvelous discussion. And we can leave for another day as well. And Kate, oh, thank you. Wow, you have really nice comment here. Thank you. I really need this right now. Kate from Staffordshire. Oh, thank you so much, Kate, for joining me, first of all. And second of all, thank you for saying this comment. You see, so many people actually are in a situation where they don't know themselves and they don't know what they want. So I'm really happy you are saying that you really needed this right now. I was actually thinking about doing this session this Friday because I had very similar sessions with quite a few different clients, and I thought, quite interesting similarity, coincidence, right? And I don't believe in coincidences. So I decided to come up here on live with this session talking about how to get what we want in relationships, because it seems like it's quite interesting topic. And actually, that's my observation. Actually, that could be potentially result of the COVID-19 lockdown as well. What do you think about this? Because when people spend so much time at home with their partners whom they haven't seen that much before, of course, now they're going to feel more annoyed, more angry. They're going to feel like impatient with them because probably they're not even clicked together. And this is quite scary, right? So I'm really happy that actually it is valuable to you. And Sat says, in time, this is on Facebook, by the way, in time, through experience, you also learn about what you deserve alongside your lessons. Sat, and you're so right. Spot on. You see, it is about believing and sticking to the fact that you deserve love. You deserve to be appreciated. You deserve to be beloved. You deserve to be admired. But it is such a journey for so many people. When I hear stories about my clients being told by their parents they never wanted them, when I hear stories about parents telling my clients when they were little that they are not as good as their classmates at school because parents were teacher, one of the parents, and so many other stories, it really scares me, because how many people are still suffering from that? And how many people out of those who had quite negative upbringing or quite challenging upbringing can be aware of what is deservedness? So we need to really raise awareness about this. That's for sure. And Shuchira, thank you so much for your question. I can see that you ask this question pretty much every time I go live, which is amazing. Topic: how to engage your day during the lockdown. What's your opinion? This is slightly different to what I talked today about, because today is all about relationships, but I'm more than happy to cover this topic in terms of relationships. So many couples right now are in a lockdown without knowing who they are, without knowing what relationships should be like, and they're struggling because they are impatient, because they're angry, because they're on the way of each other, and so on and so on and so on. So there are various ways how you can engage being in relationship with your partner during the lockdown, which actually slowly is going away, Right now I'm in Bath and life is, kind of feels like it's normal. So yes, very soon we're not going to have this lockdown situation. But until then, it is about doing what you have joy from. As a couple, you can come up with various ways. Either putting little notes in a jar and picking up one activity which you can do. Could be board games. Could be building vision boards. It could be planning your travel time. It could be having your massage time. It could be your cooking time together. It could be absolutely anything. And the beautiful part about this is you can learn about each other. You can learn about each other's desires. You can learn about each other's wants. And you can learn about each other don't wants. Right? Because it's quite powerful to know what your partner likes and what they don't like. All right. So that is about how we can engage your day during the lockdown. Just do with your partner what feels right, what brings you joy, what brings you satisfaction, what actually will make you chuckle, create memories, and do things that actually will leave a mark. Will really leave a mark, because everybody jumped into renovating houses. Everybody jumped into learning about themselves. But how many people actually jumped into let's learn about relationships. Let's improve relationships. And there's one book, two books actually, which I definitely can recommend here. I consider them as Bibles of relationships. One of them is called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And I was interviewing John Gray quite a few weeks ago. You can check this interview also on YouTube. This, I believe, is a Bible of relationships. And now John Gray, he has a new book, which is how to get anything you want from relationships in the modern world. So you can check it out as well. And the second book, which is really life-changing, not only was like in my own life, in my own relationships, but also for so many of my clients, it is 5 Love Languages, which speaks about how to show love and appreciation to your partner based on their love language. And this is really, really powerful book, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it as well. So I can see we have more people joining us. Thank you so much for joining me. And it's a really beautiful comment actually here. Aldian, you're saying, I love this woman's color coordination skills. I wish I was 20 years younger. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think colors are quite important, and color is something that makes our life really definitely more interesting. But thank you for your compliment. And I quite like this comment that Munish asking me, you launched a new book today. I haven't launched a new book today. No, I was discussing 2 books which are written by John Gray, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, and how to get anything, and 5 Love Languages by not by John Gray, by I think it's Gary Chapman. Gary Chapman, 5 Love Languages. But John Gray, he wrote 26 various books on relationships. So if you haven't seen John Gray's videos yet, you can check, because you can check my YouTube, because I was interviewing him the other day and he had some remarkable information on relationships which he shared with me, and it was really interesting. And it was quite funny because he was so in a zone and he was sharing so much that I felt quite guilty even interrupting him, and I just so immersed myself into his knowledge and expertise, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. So I hope you will enjoy it as well. And hi Chris, it's really good to see you today. Thank you for joining, and I love your comment. I think relationships are being laid bare right now in terms of being tested to the max. If 2 people can't be in each other's space too long, then work is required to learn what that makes that person tick. Very true. In today's world, we mostly spend time on our mobile phones in each other's company, which means we have stopped learning about our partner. This is so spot on. We are not respecting each other in the way we should. And this is very, very true, Chris. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate your comment. And you are so right. People stop learning about each other in relationships. People think Chemistry is enough. But chemistry is built on physicality. Chemistry is built on some of what you have towards your partner, but not necessarily knowledge about your partner, not necessarily based on the values of your partner, not necessarily based on your goals and aspirations of yours and also your partner. You got to learn more about your partner in order to build really special relationships. This is so important. But thank you, Chris. I really appreciate your comment. I think it's quite important for people to learn about each other, but also about themselves, right? And that's why going back to the original theme of today, which is how to find out what do you want in relationships. I would like to proceed here with, once you have built your timeline and you have the years, all the names of your partners, and you listed below all the lessons and all the revelations which you had in relationships, or all the stories which you learned from relationships. For example, men are cheaters, women are using men, women are not loving mothers, and whatever else it was, right? Once you listed all of them, this is a time for you to take a deep breath, first of all, because you'll be just about diving into a very special journey. So once you have all those lessons listed, it's time to rewrite the story. So wherever your revelations, wherever your negative lessons were, please rewrite them on a fresh piece of paper, but in a positive sense. So for example, if your partner cheated on you before, and now every time when you go on a date, you feel like, what if they will cheat on me? What if they will be not faithful? What if something will happen? What you can do to help yourself, you can write down, men are faithful or women are faithful, right? And before you jump into and say like, oh my God, yeah, but there's so many cheaters around. Of course they are. Yes, there are plenty of people who cheat. Yes, there are plenty of women and men, but not everyone, right? We don't want to live by the rule, one size fits all. Okay, that's not the way how we do it. We live by the rule that you attract into your life what you believe into. And therefore here is really powerful to remember that the minute you will rewrite your stories, the minute you will make them brand new, you'll be able to create your new and powerful future. So here, it's all about writing in a positive sense what man or woman can be like. And I know right now it sounds really bizarre because, Olga, how just by writing down it will help me? And I must say, yes, it's a really good question. It might not help you by just writing down. But the next step which we will do will help you really well. And let me see what comments we have here so far. And, oh, look at that on Facebook. I just did live in my Facebook group about relationships. Main message I conveyed is value yourself. So powerful. Yes, and actually we spoke about this recently with one of my guests on relationship topic as well. I think it was Diana Grant and somebody else recently as well. Yes, things go wrong, but relationships are born and bred on communication and teamwork. So true. If you have a breakup and unsure, work on yourself. Look back and see how you feel. If you no longer feel good about the ex person, you was always too good for that person because you grew and they didn't. How powerful is that? And this is so true. People sometimes outgrow each other. And I must say that I was in that relationship as well, where I outgrow my partner. And it is quite painful. When you realize a part of you outgrowing each other, a part of you having massive gap in between you two, there's nothing different. There's nothing else which actually is difficult in relationships. So in order not to outgrow each other, you got to grow together. Right? And those people who are joining me right now, you probably are surprised what am I doing in the car. But let me tell you once more, I am on my road trip. And because the place where I'm heading to right now has quite poor network coverage, and at the minute I am in Bath, I decided to make a video here in the car because I actually have a little dongle with me, which is really helpful This is a Vodafone mini router, which is portable, which allows me to go live with you right now, which is amazing. And I think the amount of technology we have at the minute is really crazy. We can be anywhere in the world doing anything we want in the world, which is fabulous. It's amazing comment here from Shashikant on LinkedIn, those who cannot see it on Facebook or YouTube. Highly obliged and appreciate your spirit to share motivation and inspiration even while traveling. Hats off to you, Olga. Oh, thank you so much, Shashikant. I must say that I enjoy that. I really love what I do, and I cannot see a reason why I wouldn't do that. I mean, what can be more beautiful than sharing inspiration which I have after sessions with my clients, seeing their eyes being beautifully amazed and having their tears in their eyes, and then share it with you. As I said, because I had so many sessions with my clients about this, I decided to actually share this information with you too. So it is my pleasure. And Howard, you really do like to keep me accountable, right? I'm looking forward to your new book, Olga, later this year. Thank you. Yes, I must say I will do. I will work on my book, and I am working on it. It's a process. It's definitely a process, and I'm writing a book on relationships. And I must say that I see the reasons why it is quite a process, because there are more and more things which I discover talking to different people, interviewing different couples, and discussing their relationship with my clients. I want to make sure it is a full-on book with lots of case studies and lots of inspirational stories. And Shashikant, yes, I see you're saying missed your 10 minutes inspiration today. Yes, that's why I posted on LinkedIn a little video and a post saying that I could not go live today in the morning because of, again, the network issues. But it's so pleasure to see that actually you were looking forward to it. And good evening to you too. It is actually 6 p.m. there, which is amazing. Really love that. How international we are. How wonderful. So if we just carry on now with, and let me just recap again what we discussed so far. So far you draw a line and you put your timeline there, right? Your years or names of your partners. As you did that, below you wrote down what have you learned about relationships, what have you learned about what relationships should be like, or maybe what your partner can be like, right? What men or women are like, right? Next step is to rewrite this story. Take a fresh piece of paper and write down everything what you want, which is opposite to what you learned so far, right? So if, let's say, your partner were cheating on you, now they can be faithful, right? If they were mistreating you, not appreciating you, then you can say, my partner always appreciates me, right? But the bottom line here is to write down in the present tense, because this is how it goes into your subconscious. Whatever is in the past, subconscious goes, well, I don't want that. Whatever is in the future, my partner will appreciate me. It goes far away in the future. And if you look into your calendar, can you see past or future or one day? There's no such a thing, right? So it's really important to actually write down what you think you want based on what you got before, but in a negative sense before. So now you're rewriting that in a very positive, supportive message, right? And the next step is really interesting. Step number 4. Step number 4 is practicing that. But first of all, by recognizing. And here it could be, for example, if your partner before was not affectionate and you were missing cuddles, you were missing touches, and maybe if it was a man, he was saying, oh, touches on public is not allowed. Well, most likely his love language wasn't physical touch. And he didn't think that it was so important. So now, instead of believing that you shouldn't show your attraction to each other and appreciation of each other publicly, it is about my man or my woman, if it is a woman, my man or my woman are showing me their affection, or my partner is affectionate. Whatever feels right. So once you start practicing that, you start looking around. as you walk on the street, as you go to the restaurant, as you are in a theater, as you are right now during the lockdown, maybe watching a movie or doing something else. As you observe other people, you start paying attention to the proof of your new story. When people are affectionate, when they are loving, when they are smiling to each other, when they're thanking each other, when they take care of each other, right? There's so many examples around you. Check out your friends, check out your family, check out your uncles and aunties and everybody else in your environment, right? Check all people and all couples you know and write down who is representing what story of yours, right? So for example, it could be my uncle John with Auntie Sarah. They are very affectionate, right? I want affectionate relationships, right? Or I am in affectionate relationships, right? Because when you just observe how other people are having all of that, but you don't relate it to yourself, this one you still focus on the lack. You still focus on what you don't have rather what you want to have. That's why it's really important here to pay attention to other people, other couples, other relationships around you in your circle, right? Inner circle, outer circle, doesn't matter what circle. It could be even a movie, as I said earlier, right? But it is about proving your subconscious, almost like saying, hey, have you seen this? It actually happens. So that will happen in my life as well. And the step number 5 is a quite interesting one, because step number 5 is all about relieving that. It is about practicing that, right? And here, some of you might not like it, but I must say everything, absolutely everything you want from your relationships is already within you. It is already there. Think about it. Appreciation you want to have. My question is, do you appreciate yourself? If you want your partner to appreciate yourself in relationships, in that case, appreciate yourself. If you want to be spoiled by your partner with gifts and presents, do you spoil yourself? Because if you don't, then you're going to meet with your partner and there'll be no sensation, there'll be no feeling and chemistry about you being spoiled, because that energy is not around you. So it's really important, whatever you want from your partner in relationships, you start delivering that based on your new list to yourself. Start relationships with yourself. Because when you are in a really loving and great relationship with yourself, then actually when you will meet somebody, you will never sound desperate. You will never sound like your clock is ticking, you need a child, you need to get married, because actually you will be already happy. And with your partner, all you can do is just to become happier. And this is beautiful. So here we go. Today we're discussing how to get what you want in relationships. It is based on knowing what you want. And let me just recap once more really quickly. In order to find out what you want, you have to start with a timeline, years or names of people with whom you work together, the lessons you learned from all of them listed below each name or year, and then transforming these negative lessons, negative stories, negative understanding what relationship can be into positive one, into I want my partner to be, or I am in great relationships. I am in loving relationships. The next step, we go outside and we look around and we prove our subconscious that this exists in outside world. And the next thing, we start living the story by ourselves, towards ourselves. So whatever you were not getting before, start giving that to yourself now. Start being that person who will attract the same person on the same vibration, with the same understanding of what they want and who they are. Right? So wonderful. Thank you so much for having me here, wherever you are right now, wherever you're doing, whether it is you at home or at work. Thank you for inviting me to your space. Thank you so much for being today in my car in a beautiful city, Bath, where I am right now. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. Thank you everybody who joined, saying hello to all of you. And Howard, I absolutely love your comment. My clock is not ticking, Olga, because recently the battery went flat. I'm sure it is something relatable to the age, but I must say, my oldest client, with whom we successfully not only dealt with all the issues of relationship he had, but also we managed to make sure he knows himself and he knows what exactly he wants from his relationships. So my oldest client, who was 73, let me repeat it again, 73, my oldest client, he did find his partner and now he is happily with her. So there is no such a thing as limit of age. There's all the limitations in our head. And I remember there was a really powerful book which I read when I was little. It was called How It's Never Too Late or Too Early to Start a New Life. And I would say exactly the same about relationships. It is never too late and never too early to start a new relationships and your new life. Thank you so much everybody who joined me today. And I would like to finish off this session slightly differently. I mean, how much more different it can be, right? I'm in Bath, I'm in the car, still doing the live session, right? But yes, let's be different 100%. And before we do that, let me share this comment from Shuchirath. Truly informative and interesting facts which people need in life. Thank you, Olga, and you're so welcome. It is my pleasure. So today I will finish off this session in a really interesting way, which I haven't done before. But this was a beautiful present from my friend Diana Grant, who was on my show on Monday. I was right in her living room, where from I started my road trip actually. So before we set off, Diana gave me her cards, which is part of her product, of your book as well, Love Me Beautiful. And I would like to get one card, which all of them have really motivational messages here, really motivational. And once a day, I get a card. It's a really nice message. So I would like to get a message for you all, which you can take away and you can spend a day if you want, or maybe entire weekend practicing that. So the message to you all today is, how beautiful. Today, I choose me. So, and how would that relate to our relationships? If you don't put yourself first, if you don't know yourself, if you don't love yourself, if you don't appreciate yourself, how can you do the same to others? Right? So with this message today, I choose me. Let's start thinking, are you happy in your relationships? What would you like to improve in your relationships? And if you're single, do you know yourself? Choose you. Choose yourself in order to grow, to develop more, to learn more about yourself, and what do you want in your relationships. Well, thank you so very much. I really enjoyed all of you. It was a pleasure to receive all your wonderful comments and to see where you're based, because I love the fact you are international. This is really amazing. For those who couldn't see comments of each other, that's because I'm going live on 3 platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at the same time. And therefore, I'm reading comments from different platforms. Depends who is commenting and where. But thank you so much, everybody who joined me, who was with me today. Whatever you do, as the message says, today, choose you. Today, take care of yourself so you can take care of others. Love you lots. Sending you my love and big, big hugs. Thank you so much once more. And I'll see you back next week on Monday. I'll do my best to go live at 7:30 a.m. on Monday morning with inspiration. And if I will not manage to do that, in that case, I'll send another inspirational message instead. But I'll be back home very soon, and then there'll be no interruptions. Everything will be very effortless and easy to deal with.